Welcome back to the Rhonda Swan Show, Wake Up New York edition. We're here standing in front of the New York Stock Exchange. And our topic today is about not only asset protection, but offshore asset protection and protection from lawsuits. My guest today is attorney Blake Harris. He's the managing partner at Blake Harris Law, is the largest exclusive offshore asset protection law firm globally. Blake, welcome to the show.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me, Rhonda.
Yeah, so let's get into it. Let's talk about what is asset protection.
So asset protection is the process of rearranging your financial affairs so that in the event of a lawsuit or divorce, you're able to shield your wealth. This gives you the ability to negotiate and allows you to avoid paying a judgment if somebody pushes forward with the lawsuit and wins a case against you.
Okay, so why is it so needed then? And who should be looking out for, what they need to do to protect their assets?
Well, by many standards, the United States is the world's most litigious society. There are millions of lawsuits filed every single year and billions of dollars ordered to be paid out in judgments every few days. By many standards, a lawsuit is simply a badge of success. If you are successful enough in the United States, you can be sued. But the good news is you can take action to keep yourself protected. And I'll let you ask me a little bit more about what action you would take.
Exactly. What are the actions they should take? Because I think right now, you're right. In America, everyone's looking for the next, someone to sue. And those that are on the receiving end, it's like you can get caught, right? So what are the actions they take? How do they protect themselves? Because I know your firm is doing something amazing for offshore as well.
Correct. So there's lots of different strategies that you can use for protecting yourself in lawsuits. And whether it's a real case being brought against you or a bogus case being brought against you, having a plan in place before any threat of litigation arises is key. And there's one style of planning that stands out as superior to any other type of planning, and that is by creating an offshore asset protection trust. With an offshore asset protection trust, you're still in control of your money. You can request distributions as you wish. You can invest however you choose. But if you end up on the wrong end of a lawsuit, that trust will keep your money safe.
Okay, so I'm going to break it down because a lot of people might be going, offshore, right? That sounds scary.
So it is something that you would want to get comfortable with. And there's a few ways of doing this. Number one, you want to work with an attorney who's very reputable and experienced in this industry. We can guide you to working with the right international partners. The partners we work with have been in business for decades. It means billions of dollars in assets, and they're better supervised than many U.S. trust companies. By working with the proper guidance, you can make sure that you are taking advantage of the best laws available for wealth protection.
Okay, so, I live in Bali, right? I've got foreign accounts, and often people are like, oh, we use a foreign account? So how do they structure? Do they use U.S. trustees with a foreign bank account? How is the structure that they put together?
Very good. So the typical setup is that we'll hire a foreign trustee, typically out of the Cook Islands, though we do have relationships in Nevis and Belize and have set up trusts in other countries. But it's usually a Cook Islands trust, which then owns a bank account in a different country, sometimes in the Cook Islands, but more commonly in Switzerland. Under this setup, you get the protections of the Cook Islands with the benefits of the Swiss banking system, which is one of the safest and most secure places in the world that American can hold their money.
Okay, awesome. So what type of assets then can be protected?
So pretty much any asset can be protected. Some will already be protected under a state exemption. For example, depending on what state you live in, your retirement account, your home may already be protected. But for your other assets, such as a rental property, an investment account, cryptocurrency, all these assets remain exposed. So what you can do is put these assets into an offshore trust, remain as a beneficiary so you can take distributions, you can direct how the money is invested. But again, if somebody brings a lawsuit against you, you're going to be in a much better position to negotiate, get a settlement that's more favorable to you, or simply avoid the lawsuit entirely. And we've seen this before where somebody finds out our client has an offshore trust and the plaintiff just decides to simply drop the case.
Okay, got it. And how much money can someone justify starting an offshore account or starting a trust? What are the levels and what do they look at?
The biggest misconception in the asset protection world is that an offshore trust is only appropriate for somebody who's super wealthy, but this is very far from the truth. If somebody worth $300 million gets hit with a $5 million judgment, it's not going to have that much of an effect on their standard of living or quality of life. But if an individual worth $2 million gets hit with a $5 million judgment, that could be a real problem. So the majority of the people who are actually setting up offshore trusts have a net worth of somewhere between about $1 and $10 million in assets. These are the people who are actually more likely to be sued, and these are the people who will benefit most from some negotiation power.
Okay, I love that. Now, with your firm, how can people not only work with you, what are ways that they get in touch with you and to start actually planning to build their trust?
So we make it all very easy. You can just visit us online, blakeharrislaw.com, fill out a contact form, and a member of our team will schedule a no-cost consultation with you. All of our planning is done on a flat fee basis, so you know exactly what you're getting into when you're working with our firm. We work very quickly. We've got excellent online reviews. Don't take my word for it. Go to my website or go on Google, check out our testimonials, blakeharrislaw.com.
Okay, I absolutely love that. Now, I know that you also wrote a book, right? Can they find your book somewhere? Because I love whenever we come and bring this, we do these interviews, someone that's written a book, it's like that's the easiest form of ways to really learn more about you as well. You share about how they can find your book?
Yes, so I spend a lot of time making content, whether it's content like this or through one of my social media platforms, as well as teaching continuing legal education. Many other attorneys who do this type of work, I've been honored to teach them how to set up offshore trusts. I've also written a book, as Rhonda mentioned, which is Don't Let a Lawsuit Take Away Everything. You can check it out on Amazon, or you can just contact my law firm and we'll give you all the education you need in order to make the right decision for whether an offshore trust is appropriate for you.
I love it. All right, what is that one truth that you've got that you need everyone to know?
Well, here's the truth. By many standards, the United States is the world's most litigious society. There are millions of lawsuits filed every single year and billions of dollars ordered to be paid out in judgments every few days. The good news is you don't have to worry about ending up at the wrong end of a lawsuit by being proactive and taking the appropriate steps. Again, there's multiple different strategies for setting up an asset protection plan, but for the best strategy, the most time-tested and most effective tool, you want to create an offshore asset protection trust. You will still be able to invest in anything you wish to invest in. You'll be able to take distributions as you wish. But if somebody ends up getting a judgment against you, if you're sued for any reason or go through a divorce, you will be in a much better position to hold onto your assets because you have set up a plan before any threat of litigation arises. To learn more, contact my law firm, blakeharrislaw.com.
Yes. All right. Well, there you go. Blake is the man to know. In fact, especially if you're an entrepreneur, someone that is growing their generational wealth or looking to really build bigger for your life, but be protected, Blake Harris Law is the one to know. Thanks so much, Blake. We really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you guys next time here in New York City. Don't forget to be unstoppable and stay wild.